We're recording, so we'll be okay. My bad for anybody who's just picking us up.
Shut out of a cannon, but a little retarded.
I just did the whole opener for today's show. If you're watching live on YouTube, I apologize. You'll just have to go and listen to the podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts to get the opener of the show, which was quite emotional between the two of us. So,
Week 11
football playoff. So,
in the NFL.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Buffalo Bills 44, Tampa Bay 32. Sloppy game from the Bills, but I feel like they could have scored on every possession they had in this game.
Because Josh Allen is a freak of nature.
Yes.
That's why. And that's the problem with the Bills. It's also what makes the Bills the most dangerous team in the NFL, probably, because it takes Josh Allen being Superman for them to really win and pull away in games, because they were losing for a point in this game. They were losing at times in this game. They just don't play defense. They don't play good defense. The thing is, he needs to be Superman. The problem for all these other teams as we get closer to the playoffs is he can do that. He can be Superman. And there's nothing to say that he can't do this once the playoffs come on a week-to-week basis. So they're the most interesting team probably in the NFL, because they're of all the top teams, if we want to consider them a top team, and I guess when we do our top five, we'll find out if either of us believes that. But if we're going to consider them at least a top tier team, they're the most interesting because they're the least complete. All the other top teams are at least capable on both sides of the ball. The Bills are bad on defense, man. They are bad.
On the other side of it, Tampa Bay just needs to get healthy. They're just too banged up.
This is something we've been talking about for weeks. And can they sustain it? They did it for a while with all the injuries, but it's caught up to them. Dude, you know what it is, man? The NFL is difficult because, trust me when I tell you, these teams are closer in talent than you think.
Oh, yeah.
You think that the Raiders stink. They do, but they're inches behind the best teams. They're inches behind Denver. They're inches behind Kansas City. They're not miles. It's not college football. Nobody's winning 44-3. Nobody's losing 44-3 on a weekly basis. Like, even Tennessee is close in these games.
Yeah.
So, it's inches, not miles, and it just catches up with you. It's such a long season. It's basically 18 weeks. It catches up with you, man. Health really does matter.
Stinker in Jacksonville. The Chargers, the 1 o'clock west East Coast kick got them 35. Jacksonville Chargers 6. Another team that's banged up all over the place. They cannot protect Herbert. Now Herbert's starting to look a little crappy.
Yeah.
Run game shit. They got
the scary thing was this week, it was their defense that let them down, and that hasn't been the case. But like we always say, when your defense is on the field 60-70% of the game, sooner or later, whether it's in this game or sooner or later in the season, you can't sustain that, dude.
Yeah.
The injuries, you're right. Again, totally catching up with them.
They got to be careful here too, because I think they're only a game up on KC, and they play them, I think, next week.
And who would you predict to win that game?
The Chiefs.
I would too.
Yeah.
They're falling quickly, and it's not good.
Jacksonville.
I don't blame anybody. Sometimes this is just the fucking way it goes, man. You
can't blame. And I don't want to hear, they practice too hard. It's a hardball team. Fuck off.
I don't buy that at all. I buy the opposite, actually. In fact, what we hear is that Kansas City is one of the more physical preseason teams. They practice the hardest. They practice the most physical, which a lot of people wouldn't realize with Andy Reid. You would think, because he's a kind of a finesse coach. But that's not how he does it. He plays his players in the preseason. He has more physical. There's limits, but he has more physical practices. So that's not the case at all. That's nonsense. In fact, you and I have argued the opposite a number of times. We think maybe there's so many injuries because these guys just aren't prepared for the physicality of the sport.
Yeah. Between mental, physical, the bodies, the bruises we talk about. Yeah. And the Jaguars are just the ultimate roller coaster. 1 week good, 1 week bad. It's crazy.
I will say they're a dangerous team because when they put it together, there's actually talent on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
But you're 100% correct. It's just inconsistent, man. I don't know from week to week, are they going to score 6 or 36? And that's,
that's I will say, Lawrence too.
I will. Yeah, absolutely. I will say this though. What are they, 6-4 right now? 7-4. 6
no, I don't know if I think they might be 500.
No, they're over 500.
Are they over? Are they 6?
Yeah, I feel like they're 2 games over 500, because that's why I looked at them.
So
Wait, did I write them down here?
hold on, I'll check it out. Hold on, bud.
No, I guess I didn't write it down because I thought that was one of the games, but
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I'm pretty sure they're 2 games over. Jacksonville. They're 6-4.
Yep.
Jacksonville 6-4.
So Houston 5-5. Colts are 8-2. Yeah. Wow.
You know what I will say. Look, good luck trying to predict what they're going to look like next week to week. I don't know, but what I will say,
I know.
I don't know that either one of us really loved the Liam Cohen hire, and maybe it was that Duval thing that threw us off. But I think things are better. I feel like things have improved in Jacksonville. How much is questionable?
I guess a little bit because Doug Peterson had a good first year too, right? So
well, sure, but I'm just saying from last year. Last year's coach got fired. Yeah. You have a new coach. They look better. They've beaten some decent teams this year. They have some nice wins. They also have some poor losses.
Yeah, here's what I worry about. They traded 2 draft picks to move up a couple spots to get Hunter. Hunter misses one half the year now. They don't have a first-round pick next year. So can that consistently, as they draft and get better and build from the draft, that scares me now with a coach that seems a little out of left field. I don't know.
Well, what it definitely says is you're sticking with Trevor Lawrence another season because you're not replacing him with a second, third, or fourth-round pick.
No.
Unless some kind of crazy, Jalen Hurts kind of thing comes up. But I don't, you're not predicting that. Nobody's predicting that.
No. Peter Calisano covered this game by the skin of his balls, but a win's a win. The Rams 21, Seahawks 19. Sam Darnold looked like old Sam Darnold, 4 interceptions.
Yeah, what the rest of the league should be a little concerned about is that Sam Darnold throws 4 interceptions, and some of them were very untimely, and yet they were a missed field goal away from tying that game or winning that game?
Winning the game, yeah.
Winning the game on the road.
1-yarder, yep.
So I'm just saying, I dropped Seattle. I dropped Seattle in our rankings, but be very careful. This is a good football team. This is a good football team from top to bottom. Sam had a bad game. He also made a lot of really good plays. And that last drive to go from what a punt, by the way.
Dude.
Knocked that thing out of bounds at the 1-inch line, more or less. He, with a minute left, just slightly over a minute left, he went from the 1-inch line to a game-winning field goal attempt.
Yep.
Got to give him credit for that, too. So, sure. And what I love maybe more than anything after the game, his teammates really came to his defense in post-game pressers and were like, this ain't on Sam. The game was on Sam. But he's like, this ain't on Sam. We're not in this position if it's not for him, going off in so many goddamn games. So we got his back. And I like seeing that. To me, that says a lot, man. And that's why even more I feel pretty confident about this team. Let's not forget that was a road game for them. So to go on the road, have 4 awful turnovers, and still have a chance to win that game, be very nervous about the Seattle Seahawks.
You mentioned it before. I am a happy camper. The Broncos 22, the Chiefs 19. That gives them a little bit more breathing room to win the division. Gives the Chiefs more work to do with about 6 games to go, 7 games to play. Wasn't pretty, as Bronco games have not been mostly, but in the second half, it was pretty much ball, fourth quarter again. Defense really good. Even without
really good.
They're better players.
Really good.
Really good defense. Vance Joseph, really great story. After being a head coach there a couple years ago, gets fired, comes back as the DC. And I don't know if you remember this. They gave up 70 points to a Miami Dolphin team a couple years ago in Miami.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And since that
point, that was at
home.
Point,
no, it was not. It was in Miami.
It was in Miami?
Yeah.
Okay.
But thanks for stepping on my dick. Since that point, you want to talk about 2 organizations going in a different direction.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
So credit to him. Long way to go, but at 9-2, with a bye week, a well-deserved bye, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, I think Denver continues to be ahead of schedule. I thought this was a great win, and I also think this is a massive confidence builder because it's like at home you hold serve against, I know it's not a premier Kansas City Chiefs team, but it's still the Kansas City Chiefs. It's still Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and more than anything, it's still Andy Reid coming off a bye.
Right.
And then also the way it went down, like late drive, Bo Nix. I've tried to explain to people that the throw that he made on a corner route,
Yep.
how great that was, because the corner really undercut the out, and that ball is meant to be, when you draw it up on a play sheet, that ball is meant to be thrown on the outside shoulder of the receiver, but he couldn't do that in that spot because the corner was on the outside shoulder. So he throws it on the inside shoulder, and all that shit has to be decided within about a little less than 3 seconds. Like this is when I say, like, when we talk about Caleb or we talk about Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, like, this shit is hard. I'm not busting anybody's balls, because like, it's hard to make that decision and then put the ball where he did and get that completion. That's elite shit right there, dude. And to do it in basically 3 seconds with 4 guys that are somewhere around 300 pounds breathing down your neck. Like, that's elite shit right there. And it's the fourth quarter, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, that's some shit. So Denver is a dangerous team, a very dangerous team. And maybe the stats aren't there. I don't know. But Bo Nix, say what you want, has big games, doesn't have big games, but he's fucking clutch.
Yep.
He is really clutch. And I think a lot of that has to do with what we've talked about a number of times, how many games he played in college, how many big games he played in college. And now the stage is just not too big for him. So he's impressive to me. There's work to be done, of course, right? We want everything to be perfect. But this is a very dangerous team.
Stinker for the Lions in Philly. Eagles 16, Lions 9, although the Lions got screwed on a call late in the game, but they didn't look good the whole game. 0 for 5 on 4th down. Now, this is what we talked about for 2 years now with Dan Campbell. At some point, this was going to get annoying and unnecessary. All the 4th down could go and for it shit.
Yep.
If you kick 2 field goals in this game, it's a whole different story.
There was a number of games over this weekend that were exactly the same thing. Like, especially this year, which seems to me like defenses seem to have an advantage over offenses this year for whatever reason. Points are hard to come by, dude. I know if you're on the 12, if you're on the 9, I don't know if it was the Miami game. It definitely was the Miami game. They went for it late in the game, didn't get it, and very easily could have lost that game. They got lucky that they won. Like, it's hard. Take the points. Like, it's hard to score points in this league. Take the points. And you see, like, you make such a great point. Multiple times, like any one time, you're like, okay, one time. But when then you go back and look at the entirety of the game, you had 2 opportunities to kick field goals. It could be the difference in the game.
Yeah.
And not only the difference in the game, but it changes momentum. Like,
no doubt.
Every time you go for it and the other team stops you, momentum switches.
And also they get the ball midfield or whatever the fuck. Yeah, it changes the whole.
It changes. It's just that it's sports. I don't know when this started, that sports is simply a numbers game. These are human beings. You're on the road against the number 1 seed in the NFC, and you got an opportunity to take points. If you do that twice, that's like scoring a touchdown.
And for a team, if you put Philly back at their own end, punt it, their offense hasn't been lighting anybody on fire.
Right.
It's insane.
Now I'm going to go back to Philly here. We talked about something last week, and I posited the possibility that, or the idea that maybe this is just how Philly is playing. They're playing to how the game is going. And I'm starting to believe that more and more.
Yeah.
When they need to turn it on, they take shots. But it just seems to me that they are making a conscious decision to say, we're not going to make mistakes and we're not going to take unnecessary risks until we have to take those risks. And to be fair, this is very different than what we saw 2 years ago when they had their little meltdown at the end of the season. It's working. They're winning games. And what's very different from that year is they still have an elite defense. If you're going to shut down the Detroit Lions like that, that's tremendous. So they're playing to their strengths. They're not making mistakes. They're doing what they have to do to win games. So
who's the biggest threat to them in the NFC right now, you think?
In the
NFC?
NFC?
Seattle Rams?
Seattle and the Rams, for sure.
Yeah.
Right now, as I look at it, it's not Detroit. It's not Green Bay. Green Bay's so inconsistent, which we may talk about. Like, it's the Rams and Seattle, I would say.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
You have anything else, pal? You want to do
I have a
top five?
couple here just that
Go
I wanted
ahead.
to go over real quick. Houston beats Tennessee 16-13. That's 2 games in a row for Davis
Mills.
Davis Mills.
I cannot get that fuck kid's name right.
I know. Why do I bring that up? Look, Houston to me is not a threat to win the Super Bowl, but I just think they're a dangerous team coming down the stretch here as teams are trying to get wins, accumulate wins to make the playoffs, because their defense gives up less than 20 points per game. And I don't care how bad your offense is. If your defense is giving up less than 20 points per game, you're in the game. Just by nature, you're in the game. And I would not be shocked. Again, I love to say this, not a prediction. It's just something to pay attention to. I would not be shocked if Houston down the stretch kind of gets a couple wins, and maybe they'll get some losses against teams they should beat, but it wouldn't shock me if they come up with some close wins against teams that we look at as playoff teams or front runners or however you want to word it. It wouldn't shock me if they pull off some wins and what we'll love, of course, stir the pot on how the playoff picture looks.
Oh, yeah.
I think Houston is going to have a say in how things break out at the end of this season.
On a selfish note, looking back at that Bronco win at Houston, that was a good win now. Because
absolutely,
you get out of there on a road win.
Yeah.
I know they knocked out Stroud, but you can't. Mills is playing better.
Pretty damn good.
So, I'm glad I played them when we did, because I like you said, in 3 weeks, I don't know if I want to play that team anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. And this kind of goes back also to what we talked about with the college football playoff system and a point system. That, to your point, that Houston win really looks so much better now than it did then. You know what I mean? Like it's almost it's becoming a better win as you see what the league looks like. Carolina beats Atlanta 30-27. Penix gets knocked out. He's out again. This is another knee injury. But Carolina is 6-5. And don't look now, but there's the possibility, depending on how things shake out, that Carolina is on the cusp of being a playoff team. Now, I love patting the guys from Bump and Run Sports Podcast on the back, because if you go back to the preseason, when we did our preseason preview, both you and I said, be very careful about this Carolina team. Don't be surprised if they're improved. I think we both kind of had them like 9-8, 8-9, 7-10. It's like a dangerous team not to be overlooked. They'll have their bad games. Everything, at least when it comes to Carolina, has played out exactly like we said. And then the last one I'll bring up, just because of the moves they made and how it's starting to look, Cowboys beat the Raiders 33-16 on the road. Has the defense improved enough? It's certainly not an elite defense, but has it improved enough to make them a dangerous team and maybe have some kind of a chance at a playoff run? I guess we'll find out this week when we get to the preview. But I think they have 2 top-notch defensive tackles. You're not just going to run the ball at will against them anymore.
What a difference, huh?
And it's a huge difference. And Quinn Williams had a sack and a half, plus he wreaked havoc in other ways, pressures and stuff like that. With this offense, as good as it is, they don't need to be a top 5, top 10 defense. Can they be somewhere between
don't break?
Yeah, 14 and 18. Can they land in there somewhere? And if they do, this is a really scary team. This can be a really scary team. That's it.
Top 5. I will go 5-1.
Okay.
5. I got the Colts. Coming off a bye, you can't take them out of the top 5. 4, I got the Patriots. Another win. Thursday night played the Jets. Just a game like that, division game, win the game. You know, not pretty, just win it. Drake made it into anything special, but he didn't kill his team either. Number 3, I got the Denver Broncos, 9-2, ahead of the AFC right now if it ends today. So that they have to earn that spot for me there. Number 2, I have the Eagles. Again, not pretty, but wins are wins. They don't take them off the board, and the defense is playing very well, and Hurts doesn't kill them with turnovers. And number 1, I have the Los Angeles Rams as of now. Honorable mention, I have the Seahawks, obviously, and the Buffalo Bills. Couple teams in there, like you said, Lions, Packers, Buccaneers. They're not there yet for me. They're just right outside. Chargers, Chiefs. But it's just week to week it's just flowing so differently, man. It's crazy.
I have pretty close to what you have with one exception. I have Seattle at 5. I dropped them down a little after this loss. Look, I'll just say this because I kind of made it a positive that they threw 4 interceptions and still had a really legit chance of winning that game. The reality is, though, as good as Sam Darnold has looked over the last 2 years, overall, all the big spots, he's had problems. Last 2 games of the year last year, last game of the season, regular season, chance to get the number 1 overall seed, he shit the bed. And then they had a playoff game, he shit the bed. This is the first real big-time challenge he's had this year, and he shit the bed. So that scares me, but yet they're still really freaking good. So they're at 5. Number 4, I have the Colts. I have them in instead of the Patriots. I have the Patriots just on the outside. Why? I think they're a little more complete. I think they have a little fewer more weapons. And whatever we think about Daniel Jones actually has a playoff victory. And, you know, Drake May, is as awesome as he's playing, has never even been in the playoffs. Not that that's everything, but it's something, because we all know that the playoffs are a very different animal. Just ask Lamar Jackson. Number 3, I have Denver. Number 2, I have the Eagles. Number 1, I have the Rams. So we're in concert with those 3. I have Patriots, Bills, and Packers on the outside, kind of in that order.
Yep, makes sense. I like it. Week 12 starts tonight. Interesting game here, my friend. We were just hyping up the Texans. Excuse me. They host the Buffalo Bills. Davis Mills again gets the start.
CJ really must have got his eggs scrambled a little bit, huh?
I think they said if the game was Sunday, he would have had a shot to play.
Okay, but still, this is 3 weeks.
I agree. I don't like
2.5.
The hit. I mean, he did definitely bounce that head off that turf.
That's Tua territory.
And you know what, though? Do you want to put him in when they're winning with the other guy?
I don't disagree.
Buffalo has been, and I mean, listen, a lot of these teams have been up and down, but Buffalo on the road, I mean, their fucking run defense, it's getting
atrocious.
Worse. It's getting worse.
It's atrocious.
And Houston, they're getting lucky because Houston's not a great running team, but I don't know if you have to be to run the ball on them, to be honest.
Yeah, competent seems to be more than enough.
Because their Tampa Bay third string guy went for like 100-something total yards on him last week. So, Buffalo's got to be a little careful here because New England has, I think, a 2-game lead on them in the division.
Yep.
And there are other teams that are hanging around for wild card teams. Buffalo's got to start putting this thing together fairly quickly.
They're at 6 or 7 right now in the playoff seeding. So you're absolutely right. And this is not a prediction, but this is just like, this is a very dangerous game for Buffalo. You're on the road, short week, against the best defensive team in the league. Like, your game plan is not going to be as thorough as it would be on a full week. And once again, they're probably going to need Josh Allen to be Superman, because I suspect Houston's going to score a few points. So, and now you're up again. They're going to score. If Houston can score somewhere in the mid-20s, this is a very dangerous game for the Bills. Very dangerous game.
I think that's 23-24. Got some, I think
we've seen Miami hold the Bills down. We've seen Atlanta hold the Bills down. We sure should have seen New England hold the Bills down. Like, this is a very, very dangerous game. And if they lose this game, if the Bills lose this game, there is a real serious potential for them to miss the playoffs. Like, real potential for them to miss the playoffs.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
It's something.
Dan Orlovsky was on ESPN over the last 2 days talking about how there is a legitimate scenario where Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes all miss the playoffs this year. There's a legit path for that to happen. And it kind of starts with this game tonight. It really does.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Thanksgiving's around the corner. That's where it gets the rubber meets the road.
Absolutely. And that's when the assholes start to pucker, when there's a lot of pressure right after Thanksgiving.
Well, it was only a matter of time. Old man Rodgers, broken hand, wrist, something like that, avoids surgery.
Not necessarily out yet.
Not yet. Pittsburgh goes to Chicago and plays the Red Hot Bears. This game has a lot of meaning.
Yeah, from many different angles.
Yes, sir.
You had to reel me back in last week. I think we were in the midst of talking about college football, and I started going off on a Chicago Bears rant because the the reality, you're like, okay, dude, let's get it back together. This is a team that has not beaten a team with a record of 500 or better. Chicago Bears have not beaten a team with a 500 or better record this year. They have not beaten a winning team. And every team with a winning record that they played, all three of them, they've lost. And on top of that, a number of the losing teams that they beat, they were losing the game very late. It took a ridiculous comeback against the Giants. It took a ridiculous comeback against Minnesota. Like, they've had to pull rabbits out of hats multiple times. I really do like Ben Johnson. I think he is going to be a very good coach in this league. I still just have my questions about Caleb Williams. I just do. You're at home. You should be crushing the Giants. They got nothing left. So this is a very interesting game. If you watch the end of that Steelers game last week, Mason Rudolph didn't look so bad.
No,
he's been in that system for years. He's competent. He's not great. I don't even know if he's good, but he's competent. And I'm just wondering if if TJ Watt can get some pressure on Caleb Williams, if they can pick him off, get a turnover. The other thing is, why is Chicago, everybody, the Caleb and Ben Johnson offense has been a lot better this year. Actually, it really hasn't. The reason that they're 7-3, the real reason they're 7-3 is because they have like 17 turnovers this year. They've caused 17 turnovers. They're way in the plus on turnovers. That's nice. I mean, that's a good thing for them, right? I'm not trying to like downplay it. What I am going to downplay is like, you can't rely on that from week to week, and as you play teams, Steelers are not exactly a turn the ball over team. They're a relatively conservative team. You can't rely on that. So this is very interesting. Like, this is a game, number one, has playoff implications for both of these teams. Number two, can the Steelers hold on to first place in their division? Number three, are the Bears for real? Like, is this going to be the first game? And kind of it should. They're favored. Most people think they should win this game with a backup at quarterback for Pittsburgh. Is this going to be the first game this year that you win against a winning team, an above 500 team? So there's a lot going on in this game that's going to make it really fascinating.
Agreed. Good one in the AFC as well. The Colts at the Chiefs.
Yeah, I will say if the Colts find a way to pull this off, which I just, it's so funny. Until something like is completely and fully
done,
established and done, you can't get there, right?
You can't get excited yet. I know.
So it's like, this is a fucking 500 team. The Chiefs are a 500 team. They haven't beaten any winning teams either. Their wins are all against losing teams.
They beat Detroit.
Okay, that's right. One win against a winning team. All the rest are against losing teams. And in comes a team with two losses that can run the ball, that can throw the ball, that plays pretty good defense. Sauce Gardner's now been in the program for a couple weeks, feeling better, off a bye. This is okay. Again, another game that has like multiple angles going on here.
No doubt.
This is a legitimizer game, I think, because it's late in the season. It really matters to both teams. If Colts win this game, they're really a legitimate threat in the AFC. Okay, there's no way around it. They run the ball so well. Daniel Jones has been wildly productive, and they play pretty good defense. And they definitely stopped the run. And now they're starting to play better against the pass. The other side of it is if Kansas City loses this game, I mean, it's kind of the nail in the coffin, right?
5-6.
Yeah, through 11 games. You'd have to. You're basically saying they'd have to run the table.
They got the Broncos again, Chargers again, Texans, and I think the Packers.
I think you're right about the Packers. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah. So, like, you're going to run the table on the last 6 games against all those teams. If you lose one of those games, you're out. Probably. And you're sitting at 9 wins. So, I mean, let's be honest, man. This is the season for the Chiefs right here. I suspect they're going to win this game. I suspect they're going to find a way to win this game. But you're right, man. Coming off a bye is huge for Indianapolis.
I have something to say about this game in a little while.
Oh, you don't say, motherfucker.
Philadelphia at maybe some life left in the Dallas Cowboys.
Look, I don't know if the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs or not, but I think they're going to have something to say down the stretch about who does. And this is one of those games. We're going to get some answers in this game because I don't care how good Philly's defense has looked and has played. Dallas at home scores points. Like, you can almost book it that they're going to score 30, right? You would think. They scored, what, 23 up in Philly in week 1?
So
What's the final score, 23-20?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, right?
William had 4 drops, and the game was the weather delay. They had that game.
Right. So somebody's going to be right. Either what we talked about how Philly is just playing to what they need in that particular game, or the pundits are right and they're just a bad offensive team and they can't score. We're going to find out in this game.
We are.
Right? Because if Cowboys, who, again, it's not a good defense, it's just an improved defense. They got some guys off injuries also that makes them a little better. If they keep them under 20 in this game, that's a bad sign for Philly. Now all the people are like Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, there's a problem. Now that means something. Until the losses pile up, it doesn't mean anything. But if they go out and lose this game 30-17 or something like that, 30-24, now all the chirping matters.
It's a little louder, right?
And it's real. Then it becomes real. And if Cowboys win,
and they're that's one game closer to them.
That's one exactly. Yeah. And again, we were talking earlier about it's all numbers. It's all numbers. Do you know what goes on in the Cowboys' heads if they fucking win this game?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the kind of belief, the faith that they have in each other, in their coach, if they win this game? You think it's all numbers? It ain't numbers. The other side of it is, if Philly does what they've done and comes out and wins this game 17-14, 20-17, they do what they do. They do just enough, 24-21. Then it becomes just shut the fuck up. This is what they do. They just win. They do what they have to do to win, and they don't do anything to lose. That's where it's a very different team from last year. That's all. So very fascinating game. Very fascinating game.
Another good week, man. We're love.
Yeah, very interesting. There's so many angles now. Yeah.
Yeah. Sunday night football. Tampa Bay, long trip to the LA Rams.
Tough one here for Tampa because you're coming off.
Tampa nuts up in this game. I don't know why. I have a weird feeling about this game. I'm not taking it. I just have a weird feeling.
Like, you think they're going to play really well?
I think they're going to play really well. I think it's one of those games where, like, the Rams have a lot of games in a row that were tough games, division game.
Yeah, we talked about this kind of with Alabama, right? Like, how many weeks in a row can you play great teams and keep coming up with wins? Matthew Stafford looked a little more human last week against Seattle. We always feel like Tampa finds a way to play some decent defense.
Todd
even though
Todd shit up.
Yeah, he'll
dial up some. Josh Allen's a tough matchup because he moves around. Stafford's going to be his ass is planted in that pocket,
more or less.
So
a lot more of a target.
He can do what he wants to do, a little bit more stunts and shit like that. But
absolutely. So you make a good argument there. It's just, we'll go back to what you had originally said during the review, last week's review, is that they're just so banged up. Can they get some guys back? Can they start to play better? We'll see. And then it's also like 2 weeks in a row playing tough teams. Like, it's just hard and you're on the road.
National TV too. You want to show your best game a little bit too. And they got the Panthers up their ass now too, bro.
Absolutely. 6-5 team. Maybe a playoff. Who knows?
Monday night, I wrote this game down because I think it's the way the Panthers have been playing. I think you got to give them a little bit of respect. Panthers at the Niners. Niners, dude, just winning with all these injuries as well. Just Brock Purdy didn't miss a beat. McCaffrey's
really good.
McCaffrey looked good.
Yeah.
Tall task for me. I think this is a little different for me than the other game we just talked about. Carolina going all the way out there to win that game. They haven't been great on the road, although they just beat Atlanta on the road. But I think
they also beat the Packers on the road.
Yeah, that's true. They did beat the Packers. Well, yeah,
there's got to be. Look, I'm with you. I wouldn't call for it.
I'm not calling for this.
I think that's a big ask. But they're, in their heads, there's a part of them that's.
Did Bryce get banged up in this game or no?
He did. He got knocked out, but he came back in.
Okay.
Yeah, he did come back in. There's got to be a part of them that thinking we've done this.
Dalton still?
I thought it was Andy Dalton. It wasn't very long, so I don't even know that I saw him make any plays. But yeah, I don't know that you want to see him make any plays.
True.
But yeah, there's a part of them that's thinking we've done this before. We've done this before a number of times this year. Let's go.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they should think that way because San Francisco's banged up, especially on the defensive side of the ball, which is the one side, like offensively, is where you really worry mostly about Carolina with Bryce Young.
Yeah.
That's where San Francisco's hurt the most. So, again, I'm not. I do I doubt it? I probably doubt it. But at some point, you got to say a team they got more wins than the Chiefs right now, and they got more quality wins than the Chiefs right now. So at some point, they've beaten some decent teams. So at some point, you got to say they're not bad. They're not great. They're not great. But they're not bad either. So it's possible.
You have anything else, pal?
I have a couple of real quick ones. Pats at Bengals. This is one of those, whether Joe Burrow comes back, there's some talk about him. Maybe, he's been on full practice duty the last 2 days. There's some talk about him coming back. I don't know that it matters because Joe Flacco's probably been putting up better numbers than Joe Burrow anyway when it comes to scoring points. I just think this is one of those spots that's a classic letdown for the Pats. You've been on, a 7-game winning streak or some shit like that. Like, this is a classic spot to go in and take the L.
Have you watched the Bengals play defense, sir?
It's bad. It's bad. But I don't think the Patriots are like some explosive offensive team. I know they score some points, but
they could be.
They're not loaded with weapons, I guess is what I'm thinking more. And I just think this is a potential letdown spot. We'll see what happens. I'm just saying it's a potential letdown spot. And another thing that to me is interesting, Jacksonville Jaguars are favored by 3 points going at the Cardinals.
Arizona, yeah.
I call this like a must-win game for a team that thinks they're a playoff team. You're on the road, you're favored. The only problem you have is that Jacoby Brissett has been unfriggin' believable since becoming the starter. I don't think it's an accident that they basically told Kyler Murray to take a seat. I think it has a lot to do with the way.
We'll see you in 5 weeks, Kyler. Take it easy.
Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with Jacoby Brissett, who just set an NFL fucking record for most completions in a game with 47. Like, if you go to the record books and you say, hey, who's got the most completions in one single game by a quarterback in the NFL history? I don't think anybody had Jacoby Brissett on their bingo card for this one, right? But that's the answer, which is freaking unbelievable. So this is a very dangerous game for the Jags. But if they want to really be what we were talking about earlier, is this a playoff team? Is this a dangerous team? Is this a team that can go on a run? This is a game you got to win because even with Jacoby Brissett playing good and having 47 completions, they did lose that game. So like, Jacksonville, go win this game. If you really want people to start taking you seriously. Doesn't matter how it looks, doesn't matter what the score is.
Exactly what it is.
Go win this game. You're 6-4, go be 7-4. Nipping at the heels of the Colts, by the way, at that point. Let's play this out for a second. What if Jacksonville beats Arizona, which they should, but I don't know if they're going to. Let's say they do, and the Colts lose to Kansas City. You're 1 game behind them.
I know,
just division
like
lead. Just like that. Beautiful.
I love
Beautiful.
it. Peter, before we get into our preview or review for college football, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I believe the national championship game is 2 months from either today or yesterday.
Okay.
Where will Lane Kiffin be 2 months from today?
So, when this whole thing started, a lot of people thought he was going to stay in Ole Miss. Apparently, there's a lot of money with the donor class in Oxford, Mississippi. They're a top 10 team year in, year out now. The narrative has clearly changed, at least on television, right? Most predictions are now that he's going to leave. Apparently, there's a desire to be in Florida. His idol is Steve Spurrier. I don't know what's going to happen, but as I look at this, if I'm him, I'm staying. And I'm kind of rooting for him to stay because it seems to me like the default answer more often than not is to leave. And I think there was a time that maybe that was the right thing to do. But as we're seeing in Indiana, and we're seeing at Ole Miss, and we're seeing at Texas Tech, and we're seeing at Texas A&M also. I'm trying to think of some other schools where the money is making a difference. I'm sure we can go down the line and find a bunch of them. Maybe it's better to just stay. You've done all the work that you're going to have to do in Florida. You've already laid the groundwork, and they're clearly willing to spend the money. You're a god. You're not going anywhere. They're not even, the thought of firing you isn't even, it's nowhere in the near future, right? And they're actually a relatively young team offensively.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm rooting for him to stay. What will he do? I don't know. Here's the ugly part of it, though. If he's going to leave, it's probably going to be before the playoffs even start.
I know, it sucks, dude.
And I get it. You have to, right? If you're Florida, you have to insist on it. And frankly, if you're Lane Kiffin, you have to, because you got to get a jump on recruiting.
I don't love it.
That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
You might be the SEC champion and you're going to leave before the playoffs start? That's, you know,
and here's the other aspect to it. Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
How many guys does he take with him?
A lot, probably, right? Which means those guys aren't playing in the playoffs.
Correct. And if you're an Ole Miss fan, you're gonna go fucking bananas.
And people, I hear people online on TV talking about, like, the system has to change. The problem, like, because of where the windows are.
Yeah.
You know, the portal.
But there's no other way of doing it.
There isn't, and here's why. You guys keep forgetting, like, this is college, and you need to be committed to a school before the fucking semester starts.
Exactly right.
So, you know, to be a member of that school. So, I wish it was different.
It's dirty, but it's.
I wish it could happen later, so everybody finds peace.
Yeah,
kind of like the way the NFL works. Like the hiring, you know, it wouldn't happen till later. I just don't see a way to do that, simply because these are schools and they're mostly just students. Most of these guys are not going to the NFL. I think the number is about 3% end up, you know, of Division I players end up going to the pros. Like, I just don't see a way around it, but this is the ugly side of it. And I guess that's why I'm hoping he stays, because this year, maybe more than any year, I know everybody thinks Ohio State is unbeatable. I do not, because I don't think they're as great offensively as they have looked, because I think they've had this is probably one of the weakest schedules I think they've had in years.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This year, more than any year, I think it's wide open. And as I've said to you this entire season, I feel like this isn't necessarily Kiffin's best offensive team, but I think it's his best overall team for one reason more than any. It's the best defensive team that he's had.
Yeah.
They play good defense week in, week out.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think that they are one of the teams that has a legit chance at winning a national championship. And to think that you would leave your team, you know, it's like saying, like, I don't know, like Sean McVay leaving the Rams in week 16 to go be, you know, Secretary of State in the federal government or something like that. Like, you know, I get it. That's a pretty prestigious job. Like, it's hard to pass up, but you're about to be the number 1 seed in the NFL playoffs. Like, hard to do. So, you know, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't have a real good prediction. I just would like him to stay. I would like to see that he stays.
The whole thing's sucky.
It is. And I genuinely, I don't blame anybody. I understand why Florida would want him to come early and why he would want to go early. And I understand why Mississippi would want him to finish the season out. Like, and I get the fans, I get the players. I understand everybody's gripe about the way this goes. I get it for all of them. I totally understand it. It sucks all around. And I guess that's why I would like him to stay.
Yeah.
You know?
Crazy one in College Station. A&M down 30-3, come back and win 31-30. Listen, these games are going to happen in college football. You got to survive and advance some of these wacky-do games, and they did just that. But it does give you cause for concern, I'll tell you that much.
And it brings into question how good they are.
Yeah. You
know, you can point to Indiana having to eke one out against Penn State, but that was on the road. This was at home. I have said to you that I think Texas A&M is the best team, the most complete team in the country. You can't be the most complete team, the best team in the country, and be down 33 at halftime fucking against anybody at home. Not at home. Okay? Now, wild and so impressive the way they came back in the second half. I give their coach a lot of credit. Number one, your guys, you gave up 30 in the first half, gave up 0 in the second half. I don't even know how the hell that happens. Okay. But then the other side of it is you scored 3 in the first half and scored 28 in the second half. Like, I don't know how that happens either. So I got to give Mike Elko a lot of credit for this win. Whatever he said at halftime, bottle it and sell it, because that's some unbelievable shit. It was really wild. It was really wild. They had some turnovers in the first half. They had some go for it and not get it in the first half. Like, there was some weird shit that happened in the first half. I get it, but damn, 30-3 weird.
Weird.
30-3 weird.
Weird.
Yeah. It was a fun freaking game to watch. I'll tell you that much.
To a game that I got called, I have humongous brass balls. Oklahoma 23, Alabama 21. Oklahoma did not do much offensively in this game, but Alabama did less offensively in this game, and that's how the cookie crumbles. Now Oklahoma now puts himself in a really good position here.
Absolutely.
Alabama. Listen, you know what's good about this? You know what's cool? I mean, not from a Big Ten fan, but what's cool as a fan of these teams, you went out, you'll probably both get in, and you avoid the SEC championship game.
Isn't that something?
Isn't it something?
Look, I don't want to hammer Alabama because of what we talked about.
No,
they were
you
on
can't,
a string of top 25 teams, some of them top 10 teams, and they won them all until this one. The problem is it happened at home, and that's what stings a little bit.
My buddy was there too.
I think it was the longest home win streak in the country until this game. I think it was 17 straight home wins until this game. So that's the part that stings. But I agree with you. If they win out, I think they're in. So there's that. Oklahoma is another one. They're very dangerous because they're very good on defense. And I don't care who you are, whether it's NFL, college football, it doesn't matter. If you're in the game late, there's a level of confidence, there's a feeling of we can do this, especially when you have a quarterback like Mateer, who just makes you feel like anything's possible. So the combination of a good defense with a capable kind of gunslinger kind of quarterback, they're a very dangerous team. They can beat anybody. I feel like it wouldn't shock me if they lost to if they made the playoffs. It wouldn't shock me if they lost to anybody in the playoffs, but it also wouldn't surprise me too much if they beat anybody in the playoffs. I just think they're a very dangerous team because they can really light it up on the defensive side. They're very fast, they're very physical, and that can get scary, and that causes turnovers and all kinds of stuff. I really, really like the kid Ty Simpson, the quarterback for Alabama. I think he's really good. I think his processing skills and decision-making are possibly the best in college football right now. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in college football. I'm just saying reading defenses, making decisions, and then making that decision to let it rip to the right guy. He's really good. He's really, really good.
What's his face at Oklahoma? What's the coach at Oklahoma? Venables.
Venables, yeah.
Saved his job, did a good job this year. Even if they lose one more, he did a good job this year with that schedule.
Yeah, you and I talked preseason. We're like, wouldn't shock me if they were a 500 team.
Yeah. Yep.
So they've definitely outshined like what we thought of them for sure.
And with quarterback breaking his hand midway through too, good job.
And that, it's funny you bring that up. Like, that's the fucking part about injuries that sucks, because you look back now and you're like, man, what would it be if he doesn't get hurt?
I know.
Do they just keep rolling like they were rolling? Coming off that nice win against Michigan, like they just looked kind of unstoppable,
really good. Yeah.
And, but they're back on track, and we'll see how it goes.
You called, bro. You were a great week for you. That you had this game pegged perfectly. Texas, the biggest fraud maybe in college football.
There's no doubt. They shouldn't even be in top 25.
Georgia 35, Texas 10. Now, Texas took the opening drive and went right down the field, and a guy dropped the ball for a touchdown in the end zone.
Yeah.
And then they settled for 3, and then they got their dicks kicked in after that. Gunnar Stockton, very good player. I like the way he plays.
Yeah.
Like one of those guys, like a Baker Mayfield type of guy.
Yes. Yeah. Stocky, good one.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Mark Rick, Jesus Christ. Kirby Smart, very good coach.
Excellent.
He's very calm. He doesn't get too worried. He gets excited, but he doesn't get too angry or yelling at the refs. He's in control of the game. I like the way he coaches. And, I wouldn't shock me to see Sark leave. I just think there's something about him.
What do you mean leave? Like go for another job?
Yeah, I think that's a guy to look out for. Like the same
Under the
year
radar. Oh shit!
and
They just hired him at LSU.
and Lincoln Riley both left in the middle of the night, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't be shocked.
Yeah, Texas comes with a level of pressure that's probably different than any other place in the country because it's quiet pressure. When we look at LSU, the governor comes out and talks about how he's going to be part of the process of hiring a coach. It's loud, right? But you see it. Florida, we're out there. They're just. But Texas is so quiet. You don't hear from the AD. You don't hear from donors. But it's Texas. They probably spend more money than anybody else. There's a level of pressure. It's an undertone of pressure. It's just different. I would be surprised. There was a press conference, I guess, today, or maybe it was a phone call on a radio show or something like that. And he just came out and said, I want to address something. There are rumors, people talking about me taking an NFL job. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. That was him today. That means dick. It doesn't mean shit, So while that would be a hell of a thing, it would not shock me if LSU or maybe Penn State backs up the Brinks truck and says, Sark, we'll pay you $15 million a year for 5 years guaranteed, 6 years guaranteed. There's definitely not the same level of pressure at Penn State and noise at Penn State that there is in Texas. So yeah, you might be onto something there. It wouldn't
at least not the first couple of years there won't be. So he could just kind of slide in and count his cash.
I'll say this one thing about Georgia before we move on. The one thing we were mostly concerned about is their defense is not quite what it's been in the last few years. Except for this past weekend. They got pressure, which was the main bugaboo that they've had this year. They really haven't been able to bring pressure. They brought pressure. And this is good coaching too, right? Like, number one, you're coaching your guys up and they're getting better as the season goes on. And you're learning what their strengths and weaknesses are, and you're game planning differently, right? So all this stuff is shifting as the season goes on. They've done a great job of both. Clearly, their starters, who are a lot of young guys, are playing significantly better, so they've coached them up individually. And they're also scheming differently. So this is like one of the best coaching jobs I've seen so far this year. Great job. And, you talk about dangerous teams. This is a team that is rounding into form as the season's coming closer and closer to the end. And I'll just say, look out for Georgia. It's a very dangerous team.
I agree.
There's a legit national championship threat.
A game that we said was bullshit with College Game Day going to this school.
Oh, my God.
It was very forced.
You're going to run out of the building.
Notre Dame 37, Pitt 15.
I think I heard boos at some point in this game too.
Narduzzi, the coach of Pitt's annoying. He's weird. Came out during the week and said, I don't care if we lose by 100. This game doesn't matter because it's not a conference. Dude, what are you talking about?
That's nonsense. Why would you say that?
What are you talking about?
You telling your players it doesn't matter? Who does that?
Yeah. Well, Notre Dame just wins a game they have to. They just can't lose. They're going to get in the playoffs. So just one of those games where you chalk it up. But Herbstreit and McAfee today were talking about game day a little bit, and they said they're trying not to go back to multiple campuses during the year. Dude, if the game's good, go.
If that's the big game, then that's the big game. That's where people want you, dude.
Come on, Paul.
Come on. Yeah, I totally agree.
And then this week they're going back to Oregon. So what fucking bullshit are you talking about?
Yeah, it's nonsense. And they should be in Oregon, by the way. I'm sure
absolutely.
We'll get to that later.
And last week you should have been in Georgia, or it should have been in Alabama last week.
Correct. Absolutely. No doubt about it.
Last one for me, Coach. Again, we both had pegged right with a cover. Iowa up 21-10 at the half, and they stymied right there, and they
what's sick?
26, Iowa 21.
They don't score again in the second half. They actually looked very competent in the first half offensively. What happened? You can't score. You can't score in 2 quarters against USC.
I know.
See, this is where the conservative side comes out, and it's like, bro, you got to go win that game. You can't just hope to hold on for dear life.
Yeah,
we get the cover. I still say, going down the stretch, Iowa's a dangerous team. They play really good defense. They can run the ball. They're physical. They're disciplined. That's a rare thing to hear in sports these days. Discipline. But they're very disciplined. They're dangerous. They're a tough team, especially at their own place. So they played well. Frankly, they played well enough to win. They should have won. A lot of rains. That didn't help USC at all.
No.
But Iowa should have won that game. They're more disappointed in that one than they are with the Oregon loss the previous week.
I got to be honest with you. Yes, I agreed. I got to be honest with you, in my 33, 34 years, like really focused on watching college football, I think I've seen it ran in USC twice.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Southern California just doesn't have that very much.
You have anything else, bud?
I have a couple here. You pointed out those two. I just got one actually. Clemson 20-19.
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned Miami earlier in the week, earlier in the podcast in the opener. If you were listening, if watching live on YouTube, then you missed it because dumbass me forgot to hit start the stream. But we talked about how the system needs to change to something more objective because I don't know how Miami is ranked significantly lower than Notre Dame, and they beat them and they have the same record. Louisville losing to Clemson does not help Miami here because it looks that losing to Louisville looks like a worse loss now, right? But there are some games coming up over the next, and we'll get to the preview, and I have a couple of them on here that could help Miami, and they do need a lot of help. They have to win out, and then they need some help, so we'll see what happens. Yeah. So I just thought that game was interesting just from that perspective.
Peter, week 13, and there's not a lot of marquee games, which is insane.
Oh, my God. Is this the week off? Is this the semi-bye for the SEC? Did you see who all they are playing?
Chattanooga, the Citadel, all that shit.
They're all favored by 30 or more.
So we just talked about Oklahoma. They got a little bit of a tough one here. They host number 22 Missouri. Just win the game. Just win the game.
You talked about how Missouri, their starting quarterback got hurt, and I said this kid that's their backup that comes in, I think he's a 5-star recruit. He's been playing pretty well, so they've still been viable on offense. But you're right. Like Oklahoma, you need to settle in, find a way to win. Don't get crazy. Win this fucking game, and keep rolling along. I agree. And I think they will. For Missouri, backup quarterback, young kid to go on the road into Oklahoma and pull off that upset, that would be some shit.
Yes. You just mentioned the crazy ACC situation. Georgia Tech still hanging around at number 16. They host Pitt. All right, Narduzzi, you're talking about fucking this game matters. Let's see now you show up. You look like shit against Notre Dame. Now you go on the road. Let's see.
This is one of the sneaky games that I wrote down. Interesting. Georgia Tech is only favored by 2.5 points here.
Yeah.
This is a game that could help Miami if Pittsburgh were to, and it seems, I guess Vegas is telling you that it's possible. If Pittsburgh were to find a way to get the upset here, that would massively help Miami, give them the help that they need. Again, not a prediction, but keep an eye on. This is a sneaky, interesting game that you want to pay attention to. There's a couple of them, and I'll bring them all up.
Number 11, BYU at Cincinnati.
This is one of them.
Game here too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. BYU. This game is at Cincinnati. Yes. Shit, I should have written the line down. I think BYU is favored by a couple, maybe. Damn it! I thought I wrote it down. Let's take a quick look here. Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom. It's the last game of the night, by the way, and it's an 8:00 start, I think. Oh no, it's not the last game. It's an 8:00 start. BYU's favored by 2.5.
Yeah.
Miami needs Cincinnati to pull this upset off, and it wouldn't be crazy for Cincinnati. They were having a really good season up until the last couple of weeks. Strong quarterback play. They haven't been as good the last few weeks since they lost that game to, what was it, Utah?
Yep.
It was one of the games that we highlighted on this show. They lost to Utah, and they kind of haven't been the same since. Let's see if they can rally, pull it together at home. If they can get a big win against BYU, that probably knocks BYU out of the top 12. I would think definitely knocks BYU. They're sitting at 11, so that'll knock them out of the top 12 and gives Miami a chance to move up. So that they're going to be looking for, they're going to be rooting hard for Cincinnati to win this game.
Anthony, how you doing? Last one for me. USC at Oregon, the old Pac-12 rivalry game.
Yeah, on paper this should be a blowout. I just don't see Cincinnati. I don't see USC having the ability to hang with Oregon, and I think Oregon is also trying to get themselves set up for a playoff run here. If I'm going off of what I seen USC do against Notre Dame and what USC did against Iowa. What was the spread on this one? Do you remember what the spread was on this game?
9.5.
It's a lot, but
it's a lot. They're almost begging you to take fucking USC, right?
They're begging you to. I wouldn't touch it. Oregon is they're so deadly at home. USC hasn't had to face any kind of like cold weather games. I don't know if it's going to be, but there's the potential for that because it's late in November and it's in Oregon. It wouldn't shock me if the weather's a little funky up there. So that doesn't play into USC. I wouldn't be shocked if Oregon wins double digits here, 2-3 touchdowns. This is kind of game. Who's the head coach there again? I'm drawing a blank.
Dan Lanning.
Dan Lanning loves. This is one of those games he loves to run 50-17, so that everybody has to talk about. Hey, is Oregon one of the best teams in the country? What if Oregon plays Ohio State?
This game eliminates USC. If they win, they fly right up the boards. If Oregon loses, they have no big wins.
Yeah. That's true.
This
that knocks
huge.
them way down or maybe even out. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that can knock them out. So Anthony had asked, this is a decent question. Can you justify how Oklahoma is ahead of Miami when they have worse losses, but they have better wins? You know, Oklahoma certainly has better wins.
Miami lost to Louisville and who else?
Was it SMU?
Oh, SMU, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the
problem.
problem.
I don't know, man. I think Oklahoma's got better. Yeah, I don't know.
They get significantly better wins. They got wins against Michigan. They got win against Alabama on the road, obviously. So those are counting for more. So that probably has a lot to do with it. Yeah. Did you have any others?
That's it for me, bud.
I have one other. I keep coming back to this team. I don't know. I kind of want to see them like turn the corner. Nebraska plays at Penn State, and to me, why this is so interesting, Nebraska's 7-3, and Penn State is like what 4-5 or something like that. Or I think they're 4-5. Penn State
4-6.
4-6, but yet they're favored by 8.5 with a backup quarterback. And I'm just like Nebraska.
Well, because Nebraska's got a backup quarterback too. Viola's hurt.
That's true, but didn't they just win a game with the backup quarterback?
Yeah, maybe. Who cares?
I'm just saying, like, this is a game. Make this happen. This is the kind of game, if you're in Nebraska.
You got Penn State Nebraska tickets in the summer for this game in November, and now you got this matchup. Like, oh,
and you were probably thinking, hell yeah, this is going to be great. And it's like neither quarterback is there. Awful. Neither guy who probably both of them are going to the NFL at some point or another, and neither one of them is there. But I just look at this and I say, Nebraska, like, you know, Matt Rule, bro, find a way to win this game. This is the kind of game that turns your program. I know Penn State has a losing record, but you're dogs by more than a touchdown. And it is Penn State. You get to say we beat Penn State this year. You know, we were a team that put the nail in their coffin. So that's all. It's just interesting to me, like 8.5 point favorite. They're 7-3. Go win the game. Go win the game.
All right, buddy, let's gamble. Peter Calisano last week 4-0.
By the way, it would have been 5-0 because I like Denver too.
Takes him to 25-15.
Not bad.
I was 3-1. Takes me 25-13-2.
Not bad either.
We are doing well, sir.
The money is we're just making it rain. Let's go.
All right, I'm taking this game strictly because it's fishy. TCU getting only 2 points at Houston.
TCU just got their doors blown off by BYU.
Why? Why is it only 2? Why? So give me the Horned Frogs. I have no analysis here. Give me the Horned Frogs +2 at Houston.
So my problem right now is I have 6 picks, 3 college, 3 NFL. I got to narrow it down. So what did you say the line on the Oregon game was?
9.5.
I'm going to do it. Give me Oregon at home, minus 9.5 over USC. USC cannot be thrilled with their win over Iowa, although it is a win. Now they got to go on the road. There's probably going to be a little weather situation going on there. As I said, Dan Lanning loves to make statements when he gets an opportunity to make statements, as we saw him do against Oklahoma State earlier in the season. After when the Oklahoma State coach was talking some shit about how much money Oregon had, and he was like, "You want to see how much money we have? Here's a little taste." So I'm going to take Oregon minus the 9.5 over USC. I think they probably win by 2 touchdowns or more.
Before my second pick, I want to answer Anthony here. You know why? Because it's Notre Dame. That's why they ding them.
Which one are you talking? Which quote are you talking about?
The latest one on 523. That's why Pete said before the show. You got to go back to Spotify and listen because he's an idiot and didn't hit record. But that's what we're talking about. Miami should get dinged for it.
We agree.
We agree with you. It sucks. But
Anthony was asking me about Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma should be ahead of them, but I think Miami definitely should be ahead of Notre Dame. You have the same record, head to head. We beat you. We're gonna start quantifying losses. I don't want to quantify losses. I'd rather quantify wins.
It's hard enough to do this.
It's hard enough. Quantify wins. So we have the same record, and we beat you head to head. Miami should be ahead of Notre Dame. That's yeah.
And listen, and dude, he says to me, he goes, "We lost to Louisville and they're ranked." A lot of teams lose when they're ranked. A lot of teams, it's a fluid situation.
And that's why I just brought up that game where Louisville just lost to Clemson, and Clemson is not good this year. So that that has a lot to do with it. But yeah, we agree. We're on the same page. We think Miami should be ahead of Notre Dame. I don't think either of us thinks Miami should be ahead of Oklahoma.
To my second game, Michigan has not.
You can't bet on your own team.
I'm not.
It's bad. Oh, you know what? Go ahead. God bless you.
Michigan goes to Maryland. Cool. I rode Maryland for like the first 6 weeks of the season. It was fantastic for me. Michigan, when they win, they don't win pretty. Everything's close. Especially
on the road.
They're laying 2 touchdowns in this game on the road the week before the biggest rivalry in sports.
Correct.
No running backs, I think. I think me and you were warming up for the third, fourth string running backs.
I'm going to loosen my hips.
They might win this game, but it's going to be another sloppy bullshit 26-16, 24-17 game. I'll take the 2 touchdowns. Give me Maryland plus 13.5 hosting my Michigan Wolverines.
My father would be very proud of you right now because he always used to say his biggest line in gambling was bet with your head, not with your heart. Good for you, sir. Good for you. God, what do I do here?
And by the way, if they cover and blow them out, win tax.
Win tax. It's a beautiful thing. I wanted to go with Nebraska plus the 8.5, but I think because
you did. I thought I smelled that coming from
you kind of talked me out of it. So I'm going to go. Arizona has been playing pretty damn good football this year. I think they're going to come up short of the playoffs, but they've been playing some pretty goddamn good football, and Baylor has been up and down, especially down on the road. Arizona's favored, but I love the number, man. Guys, when you're betting, the number matters, guys. The number matters. 3.5 is not a good number if you're betting the favorite. 6.5 is a really good number if you're betting the favorite. Arizona's favored by 6.5 at home against Baylor. Baylor's not great on the road, so I'm going to go with Arizona minus the 6.5 at home against Baylor. So Arizona, I think right now is 7-3. They're a pretty good football team.
Who's the coach? One of those Samoan guys?
Couldn't tell you. I do not know. It used to be the coach that is now at Washington. So
Jet Fish, I like a lot.
Yeah. I do too. I'm with you on that one.
That's a guy, if they ever fire Sharon Moore, that's a guy I want.
Yeah. And Sharon Moore is going to get fired eventually.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
The NFL.
Yes, sir.
This is why I have brass balls.
2 in one day, huh?
The Tennessee Titans have been playing better football to me.
They're tough.
More games. They're playing more defense. They're hosting the Seattle Seahawks at 1:00 for a trip. Sam Darnold coming off his worst game. I think a little shaky. Does the Cowboys, do the ghosts start come back in his head a little bit? Now, Tennessee doesn't score a lot of points, but last week Seattle did not either.
Correct.
They have trouble running the football. It's getting later in the year. They got more pressure on them. I don't think the Titans are going to win the game. But you tell me one of these like 24-13 games, I'm getting 2 touchdowns in this game too. Give me the Titans plus 13.5 hosting Seattle.
Yeah, that's a lot on the road.
A lot.
That's a lot in the NFL on the road. That's crazy.
Awful tough battle and a 1:00 kick.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think you're fucking crazy for taking it because Tennessee's a 1-win team.
Makes sense.
But it's crazy.
But can't you just see?
Oh, totally.
All the knockout pools taking Seattle on the road. No, boy.
Tennessee wins the game outright.
2017, a fourth quarter. Everyone's holy shit.
4 more interceptions by Sam. Can I see it? Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. You know what I could see? I could see it being close in the third quarter. Sam throws an interception and then starts to press. You know, he throws an interception. Dude. Tennessee goes and kicks a field goal to take a 2-point lead. And now Sam starts to press and starts throwing more interceptions. I could totally see that happen.
Oh, my God.
Not a prediction. I'm just saying I could see it. I absolutely love this one, so I'm going with it. I one of my favorite bets is taking good teams off embarrassing losses or bad losses. Detroit really looked poor last week, and I don't think they like it, and they get to go home. and they get to play a bad team. Detroit's favored by 10. That's a lot in the NFL, but they're another one of those teams that once they get the ball rolling, get out of the fucking way because they just start piling up the points. And the Giants are just tough right now. Jameis, I love Jameis. He's maybe the most interesting player in the entirety of the NFL because he's just fascinating to me. But I just think they're a bad team. I just don't think they're a good team. I'm going to take Detroit minus 10 against the Giants because they want to come back, make a statement, and get their shit straight.
Wow, 3 home favorites. Peter's going back to his old ways. This one for me is obvious. I have to do it. It's win tax for me if they don't. Kansas City Chiefs laying 3.5 points at home against the Colts. I don't want to see full desperation.
3.5 is such a bad number.
It's a bad number, but I think a lot of people are going to ride the Colts on this one. Off the bye, kind of like what they did last week to the Chiefs. Off the bye at Denver, nobody believed. I can't bury the Chiefs just yet. I got to think Reed and Mahomes got one more little run in them. Starts on Sunday. Give me the Chiefs minus 3.5, hosting the Colts.
I really want to take the Cowboys. I really want to.
I thought about it myself.
They're getting 3.5, which I love that number. The reason I'm not going to do it is because off of one game, everybody is sucking their dick, and I just
short week too, bro. I know they.
Yep, I just don't trust it. So instead, I'm going to do something significantly dumber. I'm going to worse. I'm going to take the New York Jets plus 13.5 over the Baltimore Ravens.
I don't hate it.
And here's why. You are who you are. Baltimore is not that good. And what I really like here is that Tyrod Taylor is starting for the Jets, not Justin Fields. 13.5 is a shit ton of points. I think the Jets, number one, are going to be able to run the ball against Baltimore because they don't stop the run very well at all. And then you get some play action pass, and maybe you score 2 touchdowns and get 14 points. I like the Jets, 13.5 points. Give it to me. I think they keep it close enough. Maybe they lose by 10. Maybe they lose by a touchdown. I like the Jets plus the 13.5 at Baltimore.
And listen, not for nothing too. Like Lamar's in and out of the practicing. They have no rhythm really yet.
Yeah.
Like if Shedeur Sanders doesn't come in that game the other day, they win. They lose that game. They might.
The other thing is they could be up by 17 in this game. Wouldn't shock me. And now they just are playing prevent. And Tyrod Taylor, who can chuck the ball, he can chuck it. He can throw. He takes them on a drive. Bing, bing, bing. With 35 seconds left, you score a touchdown. Next thing you know, you lose by 10.
Yep.
So I could see backdoor covers. I could also see the Jets just playing well and keeping it close. I really can.
TCU plus 2 at Houston. Maryland plus 13 hosting my Wolverines. Tennessee Titans plus 13.5 versus Seattle. And the Kansas City Chiefs minus 3.5 versus the Colts.
I got the Ducks, Oregon, minus 9.5 at home against USC. I think they win by 2 touchdowns or more, probably more. And Arizona at home, they're 7-3 team, only favored by 6.5 at home against Baylor, who's a losing team. So I like that one a lot. I got the Detroit Lions minus 10 over the Giants. Good team coming off a bad loss. I think they win big. And I like the Jets keeping it just close enough, getting 13.5 over Baltimore. Just want to say something. We don't talk NBA this early in the season, but I almost said the Detroit Pistons instead of the Detroit Lions.
Playing well.
Detroit Pistons are on like a 11 is it 10 game winning streak, 11 game winning streak, something. I think it's an 11 game winning streak in the NBA.
Wow.
Fascinating. Off to a good start. I talked about them last year in the playoffs. I thought they were one of the more cool stories because they were the worst team in the NFL, in the NBA the year before, and they were that close to knocking out the Knicks in the first round of the playoffs last year. And now here they are this year taking another step. Cade Cunningham leading that team. I like them a lot. I like what they've done to get whatever it was. I want to say 11 straight wins. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's 11 straight wins, so good for them.
Ready for some trivia?
Absolutely, sir.
Peter, who's first all-time in passing touchdowns at the University of Pittsburgh? Kenny Pickett, Tyler Palko, Dan Marino, Tino Sinceri.
I don't even have the balls to go against Dan Marino on this one, so I'm just going to say Dan Marino.
Kenny Pickett with 81.
Yeah, of course. That's okay.
Dan Marino is second. Peter.
Kenny Pickett probably started. Did he start for 4 years?
3, I think.
3. Probably has a little something to do with it.
Tony Dorsett is first all-time in rushing yards at Pitt. Who is second? LaShawn McCoy, Curtis Martin, James Conner, Craig Hayward.
Dude, that's a list right there.
Good players at Pitt, man.
Wow. Shit. Hmm.
Rushing yards.
I'm probably wrong either way, but I'm stuck between LaShawn McCoy and Curtis Martin. I really want to say Curtis Martin. I just think there was more offense with LaShawn McCoy. Yeah. Curtis Martin.
Well, you'd be 0 for 2 because it's James Conner.
Of course.
Tony Dorsett, dude, 6,082 yards rushing.
And who was second?
James Conner with 37-33.
It's almost half. That's crazy.
Peter,
was
last
Tony
one.
Dorsett a Heisman Trophy winner?
I think he was, yeah.
Okay.
Tony Dorsett is first all-time in rushing touchdowns at Pitt. Who was second? James Conner, Deion Lewis, LaShawn McCoy, Billy West.
This is one of those where you like to do you give me the double pick or do you use the previous guy as a decoy? I'm thinking it's a decoy this time, so I'm going with LaShawn McCoy. Billy
James
West.
Conner.
God damn it wasn't a decoy. Was I 0 for 3 this week?
Yeah, that was ugly.
Son of a bitch.
You don't like your Western PA football, apparently.
Like, apparently not. I don't know. Dude, that list of running backs.
Running backs, crazy, dude.
Pittsburgh has had some serious guys back there, man. Damn.
Yeah.
That's impressive. What are we watching this weekend?
I love some college football this weekend. As always, I have a Michigan, Maryland for love and for pick at both times here. Oregon USC game, same time as Michigan, of course. That sucks for me, but I think I'm leaning towards you. I think it's going to be close early, and then Oregon pulls away second half.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, not a great Saturday. Sunday, dude, Broncos with a bye and some great games, dude. I'm going to sit in front of the TV all day and veg out.
There's so many games in the NFL this weekend that have like deep implications moving forward, but the Cowboys-Eagles game, to me, it says a lot. It answers a lot of questions. Can the Cowboys
Bears, Steelers as well, dude?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But just the idea of like
division game. Yeah,
division game. Do the Cowboys acquisitions really make that much of a difference? Is Philly as bad as people think, or are they just doing what they need to do to win? A lot of questions get answered. And a sneaky, interesting, important, and potentially fun, high-scoring game in college football with massive implications for a number of teams is BYU at Cincinnati. There's other games that are good. It's one of those games that I'm just like, we're all going to point to this one and say so much was determined because of what happened in this goddamn game, whether BYU wins or loses. So, and it's later at night. It's an 8 o'clock game, so we'll see what happens. For Scott Bracey, I'm Pete Colasano. You've been listening to Bump and Run, and we'll catch you guys next week. Maybe.
Later. Happy Thanksgiving, maybe, if we don't see you.
All right. Yeah, I'll have this one out tonight. Yeah, we'll see. Next week might be tough.
I'm probably only good Tuesday if you could swing it. I don't know.
Yeah, let me see what I can. Let me see how things look.
Let's see if you can maneuver. I can't do Wednesday, and obviously Thursday's out. So
right, it may not work. So if I can do Tuesday, I'll let you know sooner than later with that. So
all right, cool. All right.